Okay, it should be live.
Just say
Okay, I think we're ready to get going. Cool. Yeah, everyone seems to be here. Well, cool. Thank you guys so much for joining. My name is Bianca, and I'm part of the team here at the Academy of Digital Arts. Sorry, I'm not going to go too far over that way because we are also streaming live on YouTube, so I'm just going to try to stay in my line. But yeah, first and foremost, I know it's a beautiful day outside, and I'm sure you are eager to get back to your Saturdays, so thank you very much for joining us today. And how today's going to work is I'm going to pretty much just give you a bit of a presentation in terms of who we are, what we do, and how we fit into the industry as a whole. And then we'll have breakaways where you're able to go chat to the heads of department for the courses that you're interested in, ask all the questions you want to ask. I encourage you to ask all the questions. This is the time to find out the information you want to find out. And we'll show you a little bit more about the work that we're doing, go into a little bit more granular detail about what you can expect from the year next year. And if you don't know which course you're interested in, feel free to jump across all the classrooms. We are here, we are more than happy to help you. And we'll stay here until you have all the answers and your questions answered. So on the left, we'll have graphic design and web design and development as a breakaway room. Behind me, we'll have game. And then on my right, we'll have concept art as a breakaway room. Perfect. So then just moving into who we are, what we do, and how we fit into the industry as a whole. So we are obviously, we are a small boutique academy here in the heart of Cape Town, as you now know. And with this comes a really special and exciting energy in the sense that we really have got our ear on the ground in terms of what is happening in industry right now. We try to bring that back into the curriculum that we create for you guys, and we try to do this because with the digital industry, it is obvious, it is clear, it is never stagnant, it is always changing, it is moving and grooving, and we have to make sure that we are alongside this industry doing that. So we bring all of our knowledge that we get out in the industry back into the curriculum that we create for you guys. And we're able to do this so swiftly and so quickly because of two reasons. So the first reason being is that all of our lecturers and all of our heads of department are still required to be actively working in the industry, in their respective industries, every single day. So whether they are freelancing, whether they are consulting, whether they are helping companies out whichever way they can, we are still interacting with the industry all the time, and we're building this network with the industry all the time. And we're seeing what is changing, we're seeing what trends are coming up, and we're seeing what new software is better, what new software might override other software. And we're bringing that all into the curriculum that we set for you guys. And the reason we're able to do this so quickly is because we are a small team. It's not this huge ship that we're trying to move around. There is not a lot of bureaucracy. We are all on the same page when it comes to this. So for us, when that change needs to be made, we do it quickly, we do it swiftly, and we're all pretty much ready to get out on board with what the industry is doing. We've also been around for about 15 years now, since about 2006. So we think, we definitely feel like we know what we're doing. And the industry also thinks we know what we're doing as well. They really do value the quality of students and employees that we put out there. And we've really built a fantastic network that you guys get to actually take the benefit of. We have such great relationships with a lot of business partners that we've worked with for such a long time that they end up actually hiring our students off the bat because they know the quality of work, they know the quality of student/employee that we eventually end up creating. So we really have got a fantastic network that you guys can tap into. So just to give you a bit of an idea in terms of how we fit into, well, the biggest scope of things. So we do teach full-time courses, but it's not the only thing that we do here. We obviously also do corporate training, we do short courses, and then we also have an agency within the larger scope of the academy. So with our corporate training, this is pretty much as you would imagine it. So So we go into companies with the likes of Media 24, Sanlam, Woolworths, and essentially, like I said, no industry can be stagnant. So we essentially take the employees to where they need to be so that they can adapt for their market. They bring us in to teach them software. They bring us in to teach them the techniques, the tools, the styles and types of thinking that they'll need in order to adopt this new future-proof idea of the digital age. We also have our short courses, which again is pretty much as you'd imagine it. So we teach short courses for anyone that's pretty much wanting to upskill themselves, learn a new skill, sort of delve into a new industry, update their software skills. They're pretty intensive courses, and again, they are taught all by industry professionals. And then we also have the agency, which is called Our Rabbits. And this works pretty much as a creative agency, as you and I both know and love. We have our clients, and they ask us to do any and everything, and we obviously try and make that happen for them and use the resources that we have at our disposal for that. Just gonna use some water. So it's not all business and it's not all work. There is also some fun things that we can do in terms of events, outside events, internal events that we try host ourselves. Obviously, with what happened last year, that was kind of put on hold. We're really virtual, but they are really, really exciting events. And what's great about these events is that we get involved in a way that we're not there with the booth and you'll see us there. We really are asked to be on panels of discussion. We are asked to create these conversations and asked to give our opinion in terms of what is happening in the industry right now. I know Lars is actually myself and Lars are working on the African Games Week. It's happening at the end of this year. And he's creating a panel of discussion in terms of what is happening in games in the realm of Africa, and we get a lot of delegates all over Africa. So there's so many different things that we try to give our opinion and our industry insights on, and the industry actually asks us to do this. So we get involved in a really big way, and it's fun for you guys to get involved as well. These are cool events, they are fun events when they do happen, and you get to have that networking opportunity in a fun and exciting and engaging way. And this really does shine through on our campus. As you know, we have a very small campus, and we are absolutely bursting at the seams with personality. It's really, really exciting to see when the students arrive on campus. They are very pensive. They are very, I know it's new, it's a whole new situation to go into the big world and all that sort of stuff, but it's nice to see that everyone finds their tribe so quickly. We're a creative industry, we're a creative space, and we let you be your most creative self. We have no part in that at all. We actually encourage you to do that. This is the space where you get to find out what kind of creative you're actually going to be and what you can be when you go out into the industry, and we really try and encourage and develop that within you. Hi guys. And now, for those of you who are what we like to call geographically challenged, you are able to study your class virtually, so that's most of the people probably on the live stream at the moment. So this came about as a reaction to last year and the whole situation that we all know. And luckily for us, we're very digitally inclined. We had to go digital, so we went digital and went online, and we realized there's actually a huge interest from people some in Johannesburg, some overseas, some in Durban, whatever the case may be. So you're now able to study our full-time courses virtually. And what's great about this, it's not an online study option in the sense that you'll get given the curriculum and hand it data here and we'll see it then or whatever. You are still held accountable to show up to class every day. You join via Zoom or Teams. We have that level of interaction. We have that level of constant communication. So you are still interacting and being mentored by us every single day. It's not a matter of, here's the work, we'll see you later. You are still with us, you're just not physically with us. What is important to note about this option and the on-campus option is if you decide to take either an on-campus option or a virtual option, you're bound to that decision. You can't chip and change because of the way that we've designed the course, because of the way we try and make it as interactive for you. It's difficult to do that if we don't know where you're going to be every other week. So just do take note of that if you are deciding to go virtual. So this pretty much brings us to our philosophy. So we do teach creatives, that's pretty much what we do every single day, but it's the in-between that is so much more important for us, and it's the in-between that our alumni end up valuing, it's the in-between that our students end up valuing. It's the mentorship, the guidance, the instruction, the preparation, and the training. It's all of those conversations that we have with you. It's the way we try and challenge you. It's all those moments where we actually try and make it feel as if you're working in a creative agency and you're the creative head. We want you to feel and go out into the industry feeling as if you've had these conversations before. You've done this work before. You know how to challenge yourself in order to get the job done right. So we really do feel like we bring that into everything that we do. And for us, I mean, it's about the sharing of knowledge always. It's not about this hierarchical, I'm the lecturer, you're the student. We are passionate about this, and we teach because we love it, not because we have to. So we really want to try to get you guys to be the best employees and the best students you actually end up can be, and the best creators at the end of the day. So this is just a little bit of boring stuff for most of the parents, or some of the parents that are here today. So this is pretty much just to say that we've been around for quite a while now, and the bigger guys at CHE and SACWA have said that we know what we're doing, and we're qualified to do what we're doing, so you will have those qualifications in your back pocket to take overseas, carry on studying, whatever the case may be. You will get those qualifications for whatever it is you would like to do with them. But more importantly, you'll get the creative portfolio, which in the creative industry is your bread and butter, pretty much. And so we do go back and do our due diligence. We ask our alumni every single year. We do surveys with our alumni and graduates every single year in terms of what their experience was here. And what's really great is we get so much reassurance with the feedback we get, in the sense that what we're doing here is helping, it's working. So it's so fantastic to see numbers like this, where most of our graduates were employed within the first 3 months of graduating here, which in today's climate is a pretty big deal, and especially after last year, it's a pretty huge deal. Most of our students, whilst they're even working here, if they feel they have that opportunity and they can take on that capacity, they do internships whilst they're busy working here. So they're not afraid of the industry, they're not afraid to enter the industry, and they end up doing that pretty quickly. And what's even more important is that when they get into the industry, they say that they're able to sit down and they feel confident sitting down and able to do the work. They understand what they're doing, they feel like they've done it before, they feel confident in their skills, they feel capable of the conversations they're having in the industry. So that's really, really fantastic reassurance for us, and it's nice to see them thrive. So we always talk about this idea of future-proofing, and you'll hear us speak about it often. And what this is we try and challenge our students to think about the jobs that existed 5 years ago, 5 or 10 years ago, the jobs that exist now, and the jobs that exist in 5 or 10 years' time. Most of you will know everything has changed, everything is in consistent change. And we really try to ask them to think about how to develop creative solutions for the problems that we're currently facing. If you look at some things like, for example, a website, I think the parents will know how a website looked when they first came to the internet. It was absolutely horrific. It was kind of, this is how your business is showing up, and it's a PDF page, and you can't click, you can't do anything. But suddenly now, we're looking at the website in a granular level. You have to now think about the user. Is the user experiencing what I want them to experience? Are they following the routes that I want them to follow? Am I compatible with payment gateways? Am I able to make the user do what I want them to do? It's so much more granular, and we have to start thinking about how that's going to change in the next 5 years. What is that going to look like? The website like Amazon didn't really exist, I think it was 10, 15 years ago, and now it's the biggest website there is. It's the most important website, and it is the crux of that business. So you have to start thinking about how these things are going to start changing in the next 5 or 10 years' time, and how you're going to adapt your creative output in accordance with that. So we try to have these conversations with our students. We try to challenge them to think about this, and just have a look at what's happening in the industry and what opportunities are coming up in the industry. For something like the interactive media space, our government recently released that's the 3rd largest growth market behind robotics and biotechnology, which is massive. And what they were saying about this is that yes, it's a growth market, it's expanding, it's growing, but we as a country do not have enough skilled individuals to fill these jobs. So this is your opportunity for the taking. This is where you come in. This is when you get the skills and you go take those opportunities out in the world. For something like game development and game technology. So game revenue, as it currently stands, is makes more money than the film and music industry combined, which is absolutely massive. And the reason this is happening is, yes, games, we know it as you have an entertainment factor behind games, that is a big side of it, but it's bleeding off into so many other industries. It's now suddenly becoming relevant in industries like architecture, engineering, medicine, science, all these different, our game, we've actually got some game students here. I don't know why you guys decided to join, but that's great. They're currently working on a project for a naval engineering company. And they're looking at problems in terms of how to develop a game to incorporate an educational element behind ocean pollution whilst using the engineering technology that this company has provided for them. So it's interesting in the sense of what they're creating, creative solutions and creative outputs. So we teach creatives. It's all a full-time, one-year high certificate course in the following courses. I'm sure you guys already know: graphic design, web design and development, game and interactive media, and concept art. And what's really fantastic about these courses is that a lot of the skills are very interchangeable in each of the other courses, and they do overlap very beautifully, and they naturally overlap because it is all the digital design industry. And what's important for you now is to start thinking about, like I said, the most important thing you'll leave here with is your creative portfolio. So it's important to think about what kind of creative portfolio you want to develop when you go out into the industry. Do you want to have a full digital design thing, which will be a digital design portfolio, which will be web and graphic design? Do you want to focus on concept art and game? Do you want to focus on graphic design and game? If you have those portfolios, it just puts you a little bit higher on the pile in terms of the employee list. And what's also important, and what I found most important in what I do, is just being able to understand the other side of the table. When you're in the job market or when you're in a business, you'll have to develop your ideas and your processes and your creative outputs in accordance to the challenges and creative processes that someone else is facing. And to be able to have that conversation is incredibly important, and it puts you so much higher above the rest if you're able to understand the struggles that your fellow employee is facing, and you'll actually end up being a better creative because of that. Because you'll work faster, you'll work smarter, you'll know exactly what you need doing when. So that's something to think about. A lot of our alumni have done that, and a lot of them are actually still here studying different courses, and they're really enjoying that as well. Cool, so just moving on to the courses. So with graphic design, this is a really, really fantastic course in the sense that it gives you the basic ground level of thinking in terms of conceptual thinking, design thinking, and really developing that creative mentality. It is really tricky, and it is a muscle that you kind of have to stretch and make second nature in order to have creative output that incorporates the brief, the strategy, your personality, the brand's personality, typography, white space, imagery. It's really hard to bring those all together in a really beautiful and in a way that makes sense. So we really do delve deeply in terms of the conceptual thinking ideas, the design thinking ideas, how to have a creative output and a creative strategy that makes sense for the output. So we really do go deep into that, and it forms a great basis for all our other courses in the sense that you get this thinking locked down and it becomes second nature eventually. So I'm sure you'll have heard that there is a saying that printers dead. No, it's not. I'm here to tell you it's not dead. It's just changed what it looks like. So you will know by having a cell phone that there are just so many more touch points that suddenly have to be designed. Design is essentially everywhere. It's on the toaster, it is that you use, it's on the phone that you use, it's on every single website that you use. It is literally everywhere, and it's only expanding. Digital touch points, there is not something that you'll interact with that has not been designed. So it's expanding and it's growing, and this is pretty much what we need to the crux over here. So when we go into graphic design, we obviously teach you all the software behind graphic design, and we look at elements like packaging, branding, promotional work, and pretty much everything that makes a brand personality, a brand essence, and a brand output. We take you through the process of all of that. And then we actually go into some really fun stuff like Photoshop, and this is really good to see where we get to see your creativity come to life. We look at menu design, we look at everything that encompasses digital manipulation. And this is pretty much what will bring together a brand's personality. And what's important is that we'll delve into the idea, like I said, of how you're able to bring your personality into it, you're able to bring the elements of graphic design into it, and you're able to bring the brand's personality into it, so that you have your mark and you're also able to have an output that is in accordance with the brief, which is very important. So we go through this whole process, and then at the end of the year, our current graphics design students are busy gearing up towards a live project. So this is essentially where we have a business from the outside world, the industry, they come and you pitch for the brief, you can do the whole creative elements, the creative outputs, and eventually you'll see your work out in the world, and you'll have that in the portfolio, and you get to have that client-company relationship, client-business relationship with the company that you're working with, which is really, really exciting. So moving on to web design and development. This will pretty much look as you would imagine it. There is also a lot of research and conceptualization. There's a lot of planning, looking at the user experience, looking at the user interface, developing wireframes so that you have a plan in place for what your website is going to look like. But then, of course, it is a visual medium, so we have to make sure it looks good, we have to make sure it's interactive, we have to make sure that it's compatible with payment gateways, is it compatible with Google. We take you through this whole process where we actually essentially build a few websites with different scenarios, so you'll get used to the process of building these websites and you'll understand how to build many different kinds of websites, how to troubleshoot problems with these websites. We'll take you through all the coding language. And then at the end of the course, we also give you a little bit of Premiere Pro knowledge, because as a web designer, you'll very likely be asked to create marketing material, and you'll also maybe be asked to create interactive video material for your website. So this is just a little bit of an extra added benefit that we give to you, and then again, obviously, we build your final portfolio. I'm going to try and play a video. This machine has decided that, okay, cool, so this is, sorry, there's no sound. Is it fine if there's no sound? Perfect, so this is pretty much just an example of all the student websites that were created. So this is actual students' past work. So we take them through interactive design, creating interactive websites, like I said, creating websites that are compatible with payment gateway, e-commerce websites. We pretty much take you through the whole process. So these are actual working websites. They're not just mock-ups. They aren't just ideas. They are actually out there in the world. We pretty much take you through the whole process and try to challenge you in terms of what kind of website you're going to create and how you're going to put your mark on the website that you're creating. Cool, so I think Lars is going to chat to you a little bit about game. Oh no, wait, I still have one more slide. Sorry. So yeah, I think I have said this a few times before. So this is pretty much, I mean, the idea of doing two courses together, if you're looking at going into digital design as a whole and what kind of portfolio you're going to create as a digital designer, doing web development and graphic design is a huge benefit. Having to interchange those skills really, really helps you at the end of the day. As a web designer, it is the most frustrating thing to ask a graphic designer to give you things on time. So if you can do that yourself, you're just winning already. You're helping yourself and you're helping the process, and you're actually developing your skills so that they're more sellable in the job market. Cool, I'm done with the slide. So go for it.
Thank you. Hello, thank you for coming. Yeah, so game and interactive media development. What is that? It is not playing games all day. This industry and this particular set of skills, called release, helps us to develop very high-level interactive content. That can be a game, it can be a virtual reality app, it can be an augmented reality app, or something else that uses this technology. This has become so important now that a lot of companies that do not develop games are looking for our students with these skills because they want to use this technology for their own purposes. Advertising companies use augmented reality. We have a lot of institutes that do research, especially in sociology and social behavior, that use virtual reality. We have the use of virtual reality in post-traumatic stress disorder diagnosis and therapy, because we can simulate our situations and measure if someone that experiences that virtual reality situation is triggered by certain events in that scenario. So, and then we can build a therapy off of that. So what this whole course involves is you learn the basics of what tools you need to use. That will be 3D modeling, creating graphics, understanding what a game engine is, how to use it, programming, which has a lot of people scared. There is this misconception that everyone that works in this field is coding all the time. That is not true. You can specialize in this course in the second half of the year in a field that you want to go into. Most of these projects, whether it's a game or a virtual reality app or something different, are created in a teamwork kind of fashion. Pretty much like a movie production. You have your specialists there, you have the script writer, the guy that lights the sets, the guy that builds the sets, the actors, and the movie director. In a game technology related development, especially in an actual game development, you have a very similar scenario where you have a lot of active designers in different fields that have to work together to create the product that is supposed to be developed. So in the beginning of the year, you learn the basics in everything so that you're able to communicate with the team. Like a movie director that doesn't understand how a camera works will never be a good movie director. So, and we have the same kind of approach. And you need to understand coding, even though you will later on probably specialize in creating 3D graphics. So after this, you go into your specialization. And a lot of people are actually surprised by what they choose to specialize in later, because all of a sudden they realize scripting is so much better and cooler, and I can do so many great things with it that I actually enjoy when they never expect it. So our emphasis is a lot on teamwork for that matter. Our students have to work in teams. They work, as Bianca just mentioned, right now on a prototype for an actual company. And they have to do a pitch on Friday to the very client. Stressful situation for a lot of them, but that is how you learn. And the feedback that we get from the industry is that our guys are capable to be put on a team when they just got the job, and they are able to work with the guys as if they've been there for a while. And that is, to us in all courses, the most important part. It's easy to get a job, more difficult in a lot of cases, and more important is to actually keep a job by knowing what you're doing and being able to work and bring yourself in. So in this whole field, it's actually more important even than in others, because you are bound to work in it. It's a very rare case that people work by themselves on a time. I'll talk a little bit more about the different aspects of the game development course in the presentations afterwards. Just to give you an idea, this is a whole range of photos from a couple of years back, over the past couple of years. And some of these students are actually coming back now to ask and to find new team members and employees actually for their teams that they're working for now. Because they come back because they know the guys that come out of this school are actually well trained and know how to work. Thank you.
Cool. I'll carry on chatting about concept art. So concept art is a course that we're really, really proud of. It's our little golden child because it was the first creative concept art course within Africa, and incredibly popular course. It fills up really, really quickly, into that. So I would recommend definitely doing those applications, and if you are looking to do concept art, it is filling up quite quickly. But we are very proud of this course. It's a really fun course. It's a really creative course. I will say that with all our other courses, you don't require any prior skills. Obviously, you do need your matric certificate in order to graduate, but for concept art, you do need to be able to draw. It is a very artistic heavy course, so having those basic skills down will help you at the end of the day. It's a fast-paced course, and being able to have those basics down is definitely a must. So during concept art, we do go through the actual physical drawing skills. We'll take you to the basics like anatomy, perspective, and then we'll move on to things like material studies in digital plating, and then we'll take you on to the different areas and elements of concept art. So there are essentially 3 areas you can focus on in concept art, which is asset design, creature and character design, and environmental design. So asset design will essentially look like this. This is for any game, film, whatever the case may be. It's all the props, the machines, the weapons, the cars, whatever the case may be in terms of what you're creating. This is what will encompass asset design. So it's where you need to essentially build the story up and actually build a little bit more context to the story. And then we'll move on to stuff, more exciting, well not more exciting, but the exciting stuff for me, which is creature and character design. I love seeing what you guys end up creating here. I love seeing the creativity that comes out of here. And Kiri and Andrew are really fantastic in terms of pushing you and your concepts to the limit. I mean, they always try to push further. You always think, okay, that creature cannot be that crazy, but it actually is, and they'll say, let's make it more crazy. So they really do try and get some really exciting stuff out of you. And it's cool to see you also adapt ideas. I don't know if you've seen the concept art for the student work on the right over there. It's funny to see, well not funny, it's really fun to see the perspectives that you guys take. I know one student did the IP of, I'm not sure if anyone knows Tony Hawk's skate park. He did that, but he did it with chickens. So it's really interesting to see the perspectives and the taste that they have and the way they execute it is really fantastic. And then we'll go into environment design, which will look at lighting and setting the scene and essentially putting it all into perspective. So I'm actually just going to give a job scenario for you in terms of what a concept artist would do on a job. For example, the film industry. So if the director came to me and I was a concept artist and said, Bianca, I would really, this scene needs a house on top of a mountain. It needs the characters to wear capes, and I want them to all get these swords, but different kinds of swords, not the ones that you would expect in Game of Thrones. So instead of everyone running around frantically thinking, where the heck are we going to find these things? Like, there's no way. A concept artist will sit down and essentially set the scene, show them what that looks like, show them where this should be, show them how it should look, so that when it goes into the production phase, everyone will know exactly what they're looking for. They'll all be on the same page, so they'll pretty much put everything together for the entire production. So that's in the scenario of a film set. And as you can see here, there's obviously different areas you can focus on. Concept art does also span off into game, animation, and you can just see the difference in terms of this is likely for a film, that's likely for an animation, down there for a game. So you can just see the different styles and different avenues you can go into as a creative. Yeah, I think that's pretty much me then for today. On a general note, I'm going to say if you do want to chat to me in terms of finding out student funding options, I'm going to be in the left-hand classroom there. But any other general questions, you're more than welcome to chat to me. Our applications are also closing on the 30th of November, so I know it's really leading up towards that time we have to start thinking about doing your applications. And a question that we get often is, do I need my matric certificate before I apply? No, just apply with your most recent marks. Your matric certificate will only be required once you start the course. This is obviously so that you can graduate the course, but you can apply with your most recent marks. So don't feel like you have to hold off and wait, because obviously with everything that happened last year, we have still students waiting for some matric certificates, so please don't stress too much about that. And then, yeah, are there any questions off the bat? I'm happy to answer. If you don't want to shout them out loud, you're more than welcome to come and chat to me. But do we have any questions? Okay, cool. Well, don't feel shy to ask questions. This is definitely where you can get all the information information that you need. Like I said, we're going to break off into the breakaway classrooms, so you'll chat to the kids in the park there, you can chat to them about the course content. And again, yeah, feel free to find any one of us. If you want to chat to some game students, I'm nominating the 3 of them here in the front, so yeah, feel free to chat to anyone. Cool, thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, one of us pretty much that was now getting into our final projects. But we do have this very big for K3.
So we don't have a business.
Already in the business.
The industry comes back to us to find out.
It varies. Some people have scripting experience, some people have actually no prior experience. Basically, kind of work you can come in, no prior experience, no holding costs, they hold the aspects of all the design, all the scripting, and you learn the basics. Also how they're going to publicize their work, integrating their audience around.
I mean, even beyond that, basically, I've taken a look at what is required in terms of applying into potentially any company or massive company because that we've learned so far is all of the situations with some of the work from the end of the day to go into that field. Or if you didn't want to do that design specifically as an energy designer, while really wanting to 3D modeling, I want to kind of do architecture.
So we do provide
Basically, it's really because it's gone beyond that in a lot of aspects. It's like you said, it's blended to it is that,
So it's an interesting combination. That's why I say it. But that's all it's so really
It's just
but like it is making games and like it's not all just it's like they teach you these skills a lot of times just having a mind to not just it doesn't just have to be also to the right industry where you can actually make a difference in a lot of ways. Like we don't just say it's like that's not as it sounds, but it's it is a lot of work. Stuff
a lot of our students who are online are working for
I mean, for myself, I'm working but a lot of times that a lot of other team members are required for you to skills. Here, it is very team working. is rating based, but you as an individual can improve those skills by yourself. Coding, you take advantage, improve that aspect, and then get into a team and okay, I'm coding in this team now. It's also because this is one of the only colleges that offer a full package in terms of teaching how to script, animation, graphic. It's coding, basically programming, and yeah, they teach you the entire package. I remember searching for universities and colleges in the UK where they would offer specialization in whether they would be graphics or but they wouldn't offer the coding or they wouldn't offer the animation or this was one of the only courses that I found that offer you everything and teach it to you in a year. And a year is definitely more than enough time.
We don't focus too much on that, but obviously you need to know that you want to go and apply your skills.
Yeah, so that's all yesterday. Now we did the speech yesterday. But that's what like in the beginning we like I did a bit of blender, but I didn't actually code it. It's good. Don't be ahead of it. You use Unity.
So this is how much that you know about
Yeah.
They are safely
It is, but get Unity, a little C# that's good and videos, and yeah, like I said, I'm doing it right now. I'm specializing in coding.
and they will already
It's not
Yeah, that's how they make it. Yes, yeah. You just feel more comfortable. You stand up, you already know, like, okay, we're using this.
So on our website, we'll be able to go.
Definitely.
I drew a lot.
Yeah.
And then they'll go
A lot of I did a lot of
It's just, it seems like a lot of things
Yeah.
combined into one. And so that's why I want to start tracking this and so
He's doing his third subject here now, so he's just going to gaming, then wait there.
oh,
No,
we have to improve that.
People jump around at university, especially here, is that there's such a variety of people have like a plethora of knowledge that to just stick to one thing is like it's great and you'll enjoy it a lot. But you're gonna like you'll have like a web design for a movie or like I'm trying to do this and like okay, that's not quite interesting. And then next thing you know, you're like looking at designing a website, like really graphics on the website. Like it's weird how everything blends into each other. It's quite
That's the biggest thing. Like, everything blends. I don't know where it should be. Because everything is like, it's on one big project, so it seems like
aspects of it.
that's why
skills are available when you start to you're able to be in style
enhance my 3D modeling skills.
I'm one of
You know, coding it.
right.
I'm scared. I can't move, but I'm
My dad
just seeing how big my hands is.
should
I did a small course in multiple and I'm not really saying that to I really can't. But it didn't teach me how to get to one which was the level you can work on. It's quite hard, like a lot of it's quite technical. But just by copying this technique, now I'm on the character now I'm not better than someone else who's got hundreds and hundreds of hours into it, but you get what you want.
It's just, I
Not normal for the done in the car.
I didn't know it was all of this.
Yeah.
And then when I did, I was like, wow, I can growing and everything. But it's
Oh, that's
just,
so amazing.
I just want to go simple and go to the complex. So I'm not sure how complex
Yeah,
it is.
that's good. Yeah, sometimes
Design is
Right.
because game design is so much things. And you sit back and look at the team so that you understand how you get to so many
It does take a lot of years like they really do start with the absolute basics. So it might seem like a lot of it, but by the time you get to this stage, like basically where we're at now, you know how to do, which is weird because like there's a lot of stuff to learn. But by the end of it, also it's like Paul said, you'll go into a specialization where you might want to do graphics, or you might want to do something else, or whatever the case is. So you look at it at the end of the year, okay, I didn't really do the coding so much. I'm going to do the 3D graphics for the
But totally, sometimes I just like using notes.
Yeah.
Just give that stuff.
Do you use Unity or Unreal Engine?
I wanted to use like Unreal Engine. I checked out how I only get the this one Unreal Engine 5, and then it's like applications.
There's a reason for it though. Like a lot of the technology that's in there is like
It's next level. So I thought when I get like 4, but they say that 5 is way more optimal. So I just gone with the simple one with when I was still very
well,
but I am like kind of saying like yeah, it's just as a subject. So like have some great experience. So that's why
Nice little environment, nice little community.
Yeah.
And still, even if you're doing it, you're still gonna, like some get like, how do you solve like the concept
I
like,
can understand why they say that in terms of design.
you my environment.
If
So you still end up working with everyone, you know?
that's what
so
Secondly, yeah, you don't have to, it's obviously a choice. We encourage
You will get
it does
a separate email account. And to that email account, you're like, okay, here's this new opportunity, here's this, here's this. Just like that. The job basically comes to you.
that sounds very nice.
Yeah, because it's just about, hey, do I want to do this? Can I do this? Do you want me to do points? Yes. Apply. Yeah.
That's very technical.
Yeah. In the next class.
So it's a bit of an easier integration to do on it. And then you get to graphic design, we like to stay on and then you also understand the web design side of it.
We want moving back to the window.
Yes. I'm way more familiar with Windows. I just see it.
Yeah. So I think we try when they do this class, okay.
And for classes, you can start with how I intended to be the last week.
Yeah.
And then the first class is starting on Monday, and I think it's pretty early class. And then depending on which course you go, so you can design mornings from 8:30 and then 11 yeah, so they get to take in classes. The middle classes are based on in terms of parking, it is unfortunately yeah, we have got a couple of classes. Yeah, exactly. And you go through a lot in 1 year. So it's fantastic, yeah. No problem. Hi, hi. Okay. So like I said, the concept of it is that's if you're going to maybe just something in art, even if it doesn't have to be an arts class, if you're traveling in art, maybe you should see something like that and understand it allows you to interviews. And when it comes to graphic design and concept arts, I'm really getting rid of it. And the requirements of these standards are really specific subjects. So we know a lot of different schools do different things, all kinds of viewing different subjects. So what makes you feel comfortable with software and using the user software, this week is kind of just getting around, space, especially drawing and then doing digital, it's very I think more than anything, your portfolio that you'll submit, look at marks in terms of competency and jurisdiction. You have your work, but most more than anything, your portfolio
Your episode checking views and all that, but this is something different. Concurrent views, chat rate, playbacks. It's something else.
If you're doing concept art, being artistic, those timelines are also very graphic design, it's very much seeing what kind of graphic design what information you can see the last part. It's something like you don't necessarily have to really get last time. You do have to have mind, right? How it works and getting to know those. And with that, it's 100% covered. It's sponsored by the college. But if you're looking for something like this, it's some sort of exceptional skill. And how you do so if you're listening, that's what I'm going to say. So that's really maybe you like design some type of box, maybe you maybe you like I don't know, is there something exactly that. So if you can show that to your class, whatever then obviously you can take that as inspiration. We do sometimes get some grocery funded scholarships. So these are the by corporates. At the moment, construction managers, like last year, there was like 50% spent. So if those are available, obviously, you should there is sort of an idea that you just make sure like